far we have seen the addition of two vectors and how to multiply a scalar to a vector. So now let us see how to subtract two vectors. So it's very easy. If you know addition of two vectors, you can also do subtraction of two vectors. How? Because see, for example, if I have to do a vector minus b vector, can I write this as a vector plus minus b vector? Nothing changes. So what is minus b vector? It's nothing but minus 1 into b vector. So if I know the b vector, I can multiply minus 1 to it and I can add that new vector. I can consider this as to be a separate vector. Let us call it a c vector. So I can add a vector and c vector to find the subtraction of a and b. So it's that simple. So for example, so consider if this is a vector and this is b vector, then what is minus b vector? Minus b vector is just a vector which is opposite to b vector with the same magnitude. So we shall call this as the minus b vector. So now to find the subtraction of a vector and b vector, I just have to add this yellow color vector and this blue color vector. That's all. Okay. How to add two vectors like this? Parallelogram law of addition. So I'll draw a parallel line from the head of the minus b vector, which is parallel to the a vector, like this, and a parallel line from the head of the a vector parallel to the b vector. The intersection point is this, and if I draw a third line from the common tail point to the intersection point, that gives us the resultant vector. That is, this vector is nothing but a vector minus b vector. So that's our resultant vector. Okay, so that is how you perform subtraction of two vectors. Okay, this is pictorially, it is fine. How to do it in a mathematical way? So I give you a vector a and a vector b. I give you the magnitudes of those two vectors and the angle between the two vectors I'm giving you as theta. Then how to perform the subtraction of those two vectors and how to find the magnitude of the resultant vector and direction of the resultant vector. It is very simple. See, we know that we are adding this minus b vector and c vector. So if you are adding these two vectors, I can find the resultant of those two vectors if I know the angle between them. What is this angle? Isn't this angle pi minus theta? That is 180 minus theta, because this is theta, so this should be 180 minus theta. I know the angle between a vector and minus b vector. So now I can just apply the law of cosine, that is a square plus, what's the magnitude of minus b vector? B only. Even though it is minus b, the magnitude is always positive, so it is b. So b square plus 2 into a into b into cos of pi minus theta. Pi minus theta is the angle between the two vectors. Now, what is cos pi minus theta? Minus cos theta. So therefore, this r becomes root of a square plus b square minus 2ab cos theta. Now, to find the subtraction of two vectors a and b, what I need now again? Magnitude of a, magnitude of b, and the angle between them theta. So a, b, and theta. If I know these three things, I can find the magnitude of the resultant of a minus b. Now we have just found the magnitude of the resultant vector, that is a minus b. That is, we have found magnitude of a vector minus b vector. So we represent magnitude of a vector by putting two bars, vertical bars on either side. So we call this as modulus of the vector. Okay. So how to find the direction of the resultant vector? Similar to the previous case, the addition, here I can take this angle to be alpha, and again tan alpha equals to b sine pi minus theta divided by a plus b cos pi minus theta. And we know that sin pi minus theta is sin theta. So b sin theta divided by, and cos pi minus theta is, just now we saw it is minus cos theta. So a minus b cos theta. So that's all. If you have to find the angle between the resultant vector and the a vector, you can use this formula. Now let us see an example. So consider this vector a and vector b, and I have to find the subtraction of these two vectors. Okay, so let us have angle theta between them. If r vector is nothing but a vector minus b vector, I have to find the magnitude of r vector and the angle the resultant vector makes with the a vector. These two are the quantities which I have to find. Let us try. The magnitude of a vector is 20, let's assume, and b vector 10 root 2. I'm taking that, and theta, the angle between them, I'm taking to be 45 degrees. So just now we saw, to subtract two vectors, the resultant vector is given as r equals to a square plus b square minus 2ab cos of theta. So here a is 20, so 20 square is 400 plus b is 10 root 2. 10 root 2 the whole square is 200 minus 2 into 20 into 10 root 2 into, what is cos 45 degrees? 1 by root 2. Here root 2 and root 2 will get cancelled. So I'll have 2 into 20 into 10, that is 400. Okay, that'll give me r equals to root of 400 plus 200 minus 400. So my value is root of 200, that is 10 root 2. So the resultant vector magnitude is 10 root. And let us find the angle alpha. So to find the angle alpha, I need the formula tan alpha equals to b sin theta divided by a minus b cos theta. It is equal to 10 root 2 into 1 by root 2, because sin 45 is 1 by root 2, divided by 20 minus 10 root 2 into cos 45 is again 1 by root 2. So root 2's and all will get cancelled, and the final value will be 10 by 10, because 20 minus 10 is 10. So that will give us 1. Tan alpha equals to 1, then alpha equals to 45 degrees. Okay, so therefore we found the angle the resultant vector makes with the vector a. That resultant vector will be somewhat like this. Okay, and let us call this as vector r, and it makes an angle 45 degrees with the a vector. Component of a vector. So let's see a concept called as component of a vector along a direction. Okay, let me have a vector like this. I want to find its component along a direction. I want to find its component along some other direction. Okay, for example, I'll take this direction. I want to find the vector A's component along this direction, along the line. So how to find that? So before that, what is the meaning of component of a vector? If you see the vector A from top like this is your eyes. Imagine that this is your eyes. Okay, so you are seeing this vector like this. What will you see? I'll see this vector, but I won't see the entire length of this vector. My field of view, it is actually perpendicular to the given line. I am seeing perpendicular to the given line. I will see only the length of this vector along the given line, like this. This is the length of the vector which I will see. So this is the component of vector A along the given line. How to find this length? If I know the angle between this vector and the line to be theta, then this length is nothing but a cos theta. So if you want to find the component of any vector along any line, if you know the angle between that vector and that line, you just take the magnitude of that vector into the cos of the angle between them. So therefore a cos theta becomes the component of a along this line. And if I have another line like this, and the angle between this line and a, let it be alpha, then what is the component of a along this line? This is the rose color line. That will be, take a perpendicular from the head to the line, and that will be this length, this point to this point, and the component will be a cos alpha. So whatever line you have, and if you know the direction between the line and the vector in question, then you can find the component of that vector along the line. If you are having any doubts regarding any concept, just leave it in the comments, and I'll try to reply to everything. And if you haven't done yet, click the subscribe button for more such content.